But Charlamagne's the greatest radio host in our generation, without
One of the greatest talkers.
Other than Wendy.
No, Wendy doesn't come close.
What?
No, Wendy doesn't come
Charlamagne
close.
has had a longer run than Wendy.
Charlamagne when he was here.
Charlamagne is the greatest
Where's
radio
Wendy at
host.
right now?
Charlamagne is the greatest radio host in our generation, is not a question. And probably,
I guarantee
objectively speaking, probably the greatest ever if you really wanted to look at it. Probably the greatest.
It's him or
ever.
Howard.
Hold on.
It's only him or Howard
Listen,
that you can talk about.
Wendy is the GOAT. Wendy turned because she turned what she was doing on.
I walk down the street, I'll walk down the street, I'll ask 10 Asian people, they know who Wendy Williams is, they don't know who the fuck she is.
Well, because you're talking about now. Play this.
Back then. I'll ask 10
Wendy
Asian.
Williams had a daytime TV show that she can still go back to now.
You don't understand.
You're on the
Charlamagne,
internet too much, bro.
He's international.
So you're hold on.
Like Charlamagne's international.
You're telling me that.
Like you don't understand.
You don't understand.
You don't
bro.
understand.
Let me tell you something.
Like,
Wendy was popular at a time where hip hop existed primarily, and it was digested primarily in America. With the Breakfast Club and the YouTube channel, the Breakfast Club was the only access to hip hop commentary outside of America. You have also become one of these portals, but the Breakfast Club was daily listening. So everybody in the world knows who Charl is.
Remember when I talked about hip hop platforms and I talked about like like Shade Room and shit like that? Put like this. What Wendy Williams had in terms of when she went to mainstream TV, like midday type of shit. I'm sorry, hip hop doesn't come close. And I'm talking for me and anybody that's been in hip hop.
What I'm telling you is
it does not come close.
What I'm telling
if you think it comes close, otherwise, if it came close, Charlamagne would be hosting a midday television show.
That's also a TV show. You're talking about a TV show.
Also,
he said radio. He said he's the greatest radio host. You're talking about a TV show.
But we're talking about skill at that point.
No, I'm talking about greatest radio.
So, but we're primarily talking about skill, or we're talking about numbers.
But why not bring up Oprah? You bring up a bunch of other like black TV personalities.
No, are we talking about skill, or are we talking about, like, if we're talking about skill, I agree with you.
I'm talking about skill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If I'm talking about impact and everything, that's why I say nobody top Wendy.
The only person you could compare Charlamagne to is Howard Stern.
I'd probably give it to Howard, but that's
now here's
not
the
a diss
difference.
at all.
Here's the difference. Howard came up at a time where radio was way more dominant. Charlotte found a way to take radio programming and compete with everybody on the internet. He turned radio into TV. Now, Howard had a TV show on E! That's kind of how most of us knew Howard.
The only thing I would push back with that...
Let me say this, and this is with all due respect to Howard. Put Charlamagne on radio at the same time as Howard back in the day. Nobody says the name Howard Stern ever.
I'm going to be honest.
No one says it. No, with the freedom to say whatever you want, like Howard said, nobody says the name Howard Stern.
Let me bring up a counterpoint. Hold on. There's a fucking movie about Howard Stern's life that was probably made hundreds of millions of dollars. They're not. You're not doing that for just anybody. That's a radio guy who wrote a book that was a bestseller, and then they made a movie out of it.
It's because radio was the dominant.
But what other radio person ever had?
It's almost like I'm arguing against like instincts here because like I look up to Charlamagne so much, but it's like, put like this: if we're talking about just like that type of shit, inflammatory, making a wave, like Star was that. But
son,
hold on. Charlamagne is the evolved, better version of that.
White people didn't know who Star was. Asians didn't know who Star was. Indian didn't know who Star was.
Hold on.
No, and listen, and I woke up to Star and Buck Wild every morning.
But when you compare people to Howard Stern, now we got to talk about the ability to move an audience because Howard Stern said, "Hey, I'm going too motherfucking serious. Everybody come there." Now we got to talk about impact in terms of that. So now you have to equate anybody you're going to mention with Howard Stern in moving an audience. And the only thing, that's why I said Wendy, is because Wendy was operating on daytime or whatever, like whatever her slot was, and she brought people to TV. You now have to tell me anybody else beside Howard Stern who has brought an audience from A to B, which is a different meaning.
Charlamagne.
Yeah.
Where to where?
YouTube
Radio
is TV.
to internet.
YouTube is TV.
Like, are you crazy?
And not only did he bring it to TV, meaning it was on the TV at that time every single day, and there was 8 other channels you could fucking watch. Yeah. There was millions other channels you could watch, and you tapped in on YouTube.
Son,
no, you can't brand that.
So you, of
How
all
can
people,
you
know
not
how
see
hard
YouTube
it is
as
to...
TV? YouTube is the new TV.
You're not hearing what I'm saying, though.
I'm hearing it. I'm digesting it. I disagree with it.
I also don't think you're understanding.
No. Because I know about moving audience.
Yeah.
And I know how difficult it is.
But you also don't understand.
I'm not saying the Breakfast Club didn't exist and still exists, and they're amazing on YouTube.
I don't think you know the strong. Like, where'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up?
Place.
Where'd you grow up? I need to know where you were a kid.
Well, at least in America, I was in Jersey.
So you grew up listening to Hot 97 or you didn't? How old were you?
Both, yes.
How
from
old were
10
you?
all the way up.
Okay,
yes.
so you grew up listening to
Yes.
Hot 97. Because that's how I grew up. I listened to Hot 97. Hot 97, I mean, is a shell of what it was.
Yes.
Because of one human being.
No, of course.
His name is Charlamagne.
No, I'm not lying. Wait, no, of course.
Hot 97 was an institution of hip-hop.
No.
It was a hip-hop staple.
Yeah.
Before one
oh my God.
man.
I'm
like,
agreeing.
how are you not acknowledging that?
I'm agreeing with y'all, but I think the way you're looking at radio and everything else, Hot 97 doesn't go down in the fucking like Hot 97. Wendy's run, bro. We're talking about Ebro in the morning. Like, I'm sorry to say,
No,
it's like,
Ebro's now. We're talking
you
about.
don't understand the hip hop.
Star and Buck is Hot 97, bro.
Like Hot 97.
Flex is Hot 97.
Hold on. Wait. Charlamagne was competing with at the same time. Let's be honest.
He was Cypher Sounds Rosenberg.
Come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, my dude, I'll kick them around now. Like, come on. That's what I'm saying. Yo, here's what I'm trying to say.
I really saw you.
Yo, y'all gotta stop it. Listen, here's my thing about moving audience.
The second name.
I talk about moving audience. No, I talk.
You can't build a show around Rosenberg. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Listen, shout out to Cypher, but Rosenberg ain't the one to carry a network.
And this is the only reason, by the way, this is all with due respect. Like, I love Charlamagne.
Nah, but
this is
Ebro
not
was
no
the
disrespect to him.
at that
but
time.
When I'm
No,
talking
Ebro
about
came back down.
When I'm talking about Howard Stern, he moved his audience from
Rosenberg couldn't handle
FM AM to all the way to Sirius,
That's a
right?
great point. I give you Howard.
We see also Wendy do it.
Here's
if
what I'll say about
Charlamagne did it,
Wendy.
he would do it to daytime TV, or he would do
Here's
it in
what you're
other realms.
underestimating with
Not the
daytime-
same program.
Hold on.
Like, for example, because I know I struggle with that too. That's just reality.
Nah, bro,
people
listen.
like, for example, okay, great, I'm lit on YouTube. But then, does it translate to every different medium? It's really
A
hard.
daytime TV show also, the expectations are much lower, the ratings required are much lower, and it's a much cheaper thing to make. So if you're viable as a daytime TV host, we'll just keep you going because you're competing against nothing. If you have a good daytime talk show, you're a fucking global superstar. Ellen and Oprah, the whole world knows them. Everybody else, it's cooking shows. It's just have some level of an audience, and we're good. It's a very cheap show to make. We can do it every day. Let's go. Even if I'm paying you a lot, I don't gotta do shit else. There's no script writers. There's no nothing.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I don't think you're giving enough credit to transitioning the audience from one platform to another, meaning radio to YouTube. You have
that was natural.
Hold on, bro.
I'm gonna tell you why it was natural.
What's
because
natural mean?
Yo,
it was natural because it's the reason why it existed.
You're moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not moving the goalposts.
Let me
If that
ask a
wasn't
question.
natural, I wouldn't be a thing.
Can I ask a question?
If
Can I ask a
had
question?
to compete with radio when the audience was only at radio,
Can I
I
ask
wouldn't
a
be a
question?
thing.
Can I ask a
The
question?
audience was already coming here.
Can I ask a question?
That's, by the way, you know why I'm one
Can I
of the
ask a
biggest?
question?
Because
why hasn't Hot 97 took off on internet?
They
because
also have video.
they
Every radio
fucking
station got
trash.
video.
Okay, so then
trash.
So you're saying that he was better?
yeah.
Of course, he's
Is
the
he-
best of them. He's the best of
Is
them.
he the best of his generation?
Of course.
Without okay, so we at least acknowledge best of
Yes,
generation.
no,
Okay,
I
okay.
agree with that.
And we at least acknowledge that he transitioned his audience from radio to YouTube and brought in people that weren't even listening to the radio to YouTube. Just off of how compelling the interviews are. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, hold on.
Just can you give it
I'm
a
gonna
yes
say,
or no?
hold on.
That's crazy.
People
You can't even just say yes or no.
No.
I think you
No.
take for granted.
No.
Because you're an internet dude.
He's that
It's easy to go
No.
internet to internet.
No.
It's hard to go radio to internet.
Yo,
too big
hold
of a
on.
button fit.
No.
You can't do it.
Is this a button thing? You feel like you got to defend Joe?
It's not even
He
Joe.
got the biggest Patreon.
No. Who cares about what?
Yo, his Patreon is huge, bro. His
I'm gonna
Patreon
say
is
this.
one of
I'm
the
gonna say
biggest.
this, and y'all gonna think it sounds
actually
like
really
hate.
bothers us.
Hold on.
It's got to afford
I'm
20
gonna say
different
this.
people playing musical chairs in his living room.
I know we can joke on it. Hold on. I'll say this, and y'all gonna think it's hate. Charlamagne is one of the greatest radio personalities of all time.
Top what?
Top 2 or 3. Well, when it comes to black people, he's top 2.
It's top 2 and he's not 2 all people.
No, he's top 2 when it comes to black people because Wendy's always number 1 for me. He's top 3 or
You
top
don't think
5.
he's objective? Like, if you want to hear one person, let me just ask this. You want to hear one person interview a president, a rapper,
Culturally, that shit don't matter, bro. I'm being honest with
Say
you.
again?
That shit do not matter, bro.
I said a
We
president
don't
or
give two
rapper.
fucks about.
just give him that because it's almost like comparing Jordan and
that's fine.
LeBron.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's like Jordan
You have
and
a
LeBron.
style.
They're
etc.
both
Yeah.
like whatever. One came before.
Like, play this.
Charlamagne might agree with you, by the way.
Interviewing Biden,
that's it.
interviewing Biden versus like I'm talking about culturally. Interviewing Biden versus Wendy interviewing Whitney does not. Bro, nobody gives a fuck about Biden, my nigga. Yeah,
Name
granted,
it.
you're bigger, but it's not cultural.
Hold on.
We're talking about cultural.
Okay, name a iconic Wendy moment that you really remember.
with Andrew Dice Clay. Remember that one?
I mean, a million
With
of
both of them. Name one. Name one. name one.
I
remember her
hold
being
on.
the Statue of Liberty.
Hold on. Well, first of all, she's a.
Don't do that
Hold
to
on.
Wendy.
She outed. She outed.
Diddy.
What's that nigga name?
She's been on Diddy since the beginning. She
Yeah,
called
she
that
outed
shit
Diddy.
early.
She got
She's the
fired
first one
for
to call her.
it. She outed DJ Mr. C. Bro, like Wendy's always been like when Wendy.
Name a moment.
When Wendy brought Charlamagne in, it was because she was so extreme.
Name a moment.
No, there
We
are
don't need to
TikToks
knock
dedicated
somebody,
to
bro.
just
Big up
crazy
somebody else.
Wendy
Bro,
Williams
bro.
moments.
They're
Bro.
both.
Charlamagne himself would never sit on any camera and say that Wendy is the blueprint. I'm telling you this because it's a fact.
So now let's talk about impact.
Okay.
Now let's talk about impact.
Okay.
So
By the way,
now
no.
you have Charlamagne.
Charlamagne has gotten
radio,
yes.
YouTube, books, TV.
The only thing with
Like,
Charlamagne,
now let's
the
talk about
only
impact,
Charlamagne I
because
would
now
say,
it's
the
different.
only thing with Charlamagne I
a
would
different
say
conversation.
is different than the other two people. And by the way, this is rarefied air, so it's not hate.
Charlamagne,
This-
like,
hold on.
criminally
Wait. Rarefied air because we're
disrespected right
hold on. We're comparing him to Howard Stern and Wendy Williams.
I'm not comparing him to Wendy, with all due respect. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
Well, I'll
comparing
tell you
him
why
to-
I'm comparing them.
I'm
Because
comparing Howard
here's
to
the thing.
Charlamagne.
Hold on. Here's the thing. We're not just talking talent. Of course, I think this nigga is fucking amazing. Great, right? I'm talking about you got to be able to mobilize and move an audience. If you could tell me, like, Howard Stern moved an audience to fucking Sirius. I seen Wendy move an audience to daytime TV. You have to tell me where Charlamagne moved an audience to. Other than you can't tell me
YouTube.
No, my nigga. It's the same program. People just start
No, it's
consuming.
not the same
Stop
program.
it.
Make
People
that
start,
argument.
hold on.
Make that argument why it's the same program.
People start
Make the
consuming the
argument.
Breakfast Club through.
Make the argument why it's the same program.
All right, well,
how is radio the same as YouTube?
Okay, so let me go on your bullshit point. Okay, so if he moved them to YouTube, then they should go to the YouTube of the other shows that he does.
Which are?
Doesn't he have YouTubes for the other like
No.
nightly pro? Hell of a Week didn't have a YouTube.
No, they don't put the whole show on YouTube.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean? It does matter.
No, it.
How does
Play
that
this,
not
play this,
matter?
play
If
this.
somebody
My
puts out a
audience-
minute of his show, that matters?
Oh, so y'all trying to discount it?
See, you're reaching.
This is the thing. You-
It's
let me
cool.
make the argument.
Yeah.
I don't think you've done anything outside of the internet space.
Facts.
No.
I agree.
So you don't understand the difference between the internet space and the traditional media space. The traditional media space is fundamentally different. Charlamagne comes from the traditional media space.
Right.
I don't know if you would have the same success going from the unbelievable achievements that you've made on internet to
I agree.
a more watered down platform. Now,
Hold on. I agree so much. That's why I think y'all don't like when I'm pointing the same thing at him.
no, because what we're saying is the opposite. He has the ability to go from the traditional media space where he made the biggest radio show ever. We acknowledge within his generation, the greatest radio host, right? We already acknowledge he's done it the best over here with the handcuffs. And then when you take the handcuffs off on the full unedited interview on YouTube, it becomes hip hop media exists on YouTube because of him.
Bro,
Yes or no?
no, my nigga.
Okay,
yo,
who
YouTube
started
is
hip hop?
happening.
Who started hip hop media on YouTube then?
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
If you think it's a Breakfast Club, you're crazy.
Just no, tell me who.
Nigga, Breakfast Club was a byproduct of the internet. Charlamagne himself says out of his own mouth.
But
we
who-
saw
what
it
was the hip-hop
our
media
interviews
resource
were
on
going
YouTube?
viral, and
That Piff? Where did you go to get?
the internet changed shit, bro.
like,
No, but
Ag,
where do
what
you
you're
go
not-
to get the content?
That's what I'm saying.
Dat
Like,
Piff? It
what-
was Dat Piff, right? It was the blogs and it was Breakfast Club on YouTube. Yes or no? Just do the math for me. Tell me the other resource.
Yo, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're trying to give Breakfast Club credit for creating YouTube in terms of that content.
I didn't say creating YouTube.
They're a byproduct.
See,
they're a byproduct.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
One important component. Go.
So he's a stand-up comedian, and he put his clips out on YouTube, and then those clips blew up. And you're trying to take credit away from Charlotte because
I'll take credit away from him and say, if the internet wasn't busting the way it was, he wouldn't be as big as he is.
Oh, so if you're taking that credit away, that's stupid.
You can't take credit for the times changing. The times change to the internet.
I understand the argument.
The times is changing to the internet.
Wait for it.
No one person said we're going to the internet.
What you're trying to say is there's an appetite for this content, and the internet provided a way for people to do it. Now, it takes a person
to do it,
to make that jump.
Yes.
And wait for it. It takes a person to make that jump with talent to get all these people to realize they want to consume that content. What I think is the Breakfast Club, and I don't want to, I give Charlotte lots of credit, but I also give credit to Envy and Lee. What they did is, or Yee, my bad, I made her more Asian. Sorry. She gonna be on Buddy's podcast. I basically, what he did is brought that audience over there and found new audience that was going to be there. But they also fought to keep that content under there, and he understood the value of that YouTube content in the same way.
No, he does. Hey, listen, we're not arguing the same thing. The only point I said is this. You're trying to say, oh, it's him bringing it to YouTube. I'm telling you that YouTube is inevitable for anything. I am a product. I don't say I create. Like, when people give me credit for being a genius, I said, I'm also the
How many people copy you that don't succeed?
No. But I'm the benefactor of place and time. I was
how many people copy you
You're right.
don't
You're right.
succeed?
But I'm also the benefactor. I am also very honest. I'm the benefactor of being one of the first.
But
and in that moment,
have you continued to succeed?
Every successful person is a benefactor.
You continue to succeed.
Okay.
Why?
And that's what makes you bigger than just a successful person. You become a legend. Hear what I'm trying to say. You have to be able to move an audience if we're talking about Howard Stern. And my whole thing is this. If listen, you keep talking about the internet.
You hating, dog.
I'm hating?
Hold on one second.
Yo, if I would give the credit. I would give the credit. By the way, we're comparing it to, you keep saying hating, but it's like, bro, I'm comparing them to the two biggest in the whole space. Howard Stern, Wendy Williams. If Charlamagne moved the Breakfast Club audience to go watch whatever TV show he got going on, Hell of a Week or anything else, now he did it. Mm-hmm. But having people watch you on YouTube, my nigga, they watch Charleston White on YouTube. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? You get what I mean? I'm not somebody who thinks that I move people. Do you think I stand out and be like, yo, I move people away from linear or whatever to come to me? I was a benefactor of the times.
Does content that is quality make people want to consume it on a new platform?
I'm not saying it wasn't quality. Yes, you're right.
Okay, so there are plenty of people who put a stand-up clip or a stand-up video up on YouTube before me.
Okay.
I did it, and then it became a trend worldwide. That's not just because the internet blew up. It's because the internet blew up and skill.
Every successful person.
Your shows.
Akademiks.
No. He's right.
My point is, you need both. You need skill and you need trend.
You're right, except this. We've watched you exponentially grow to selling out the fucking Guard, my nigga. Twice. You're right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see that exponential growth for anyone else that you're going to compare to that say it's just not the internet. Because you're right. It's skill that made that happen.
So I haven't seen another Breakfast Club.
No. Hold on. Play this.
Name another radio show. Name another radio show.
If Charlamagne does any other iteration other than the Breakfast Club, and I hate this because it feels like I'm hating, and I'm definitely not.
You kind of are, because look at it.
I don't think you're acknowledging the ability to take someone from traditional media. What I think you're doing is you're looking at it through
But there hasn't been anything else.
Listen. You're looking at it through your lens, and you're also looking through Wendy's lens, which is going from traditional to traditional, right?
Yes.
Where there are way less outlets for.
So are you saying traditional to internet?
Let me get out.
Go ahead.
There are way less outlets for distraction. When you're going from radio to TV. This is at a time where nobody's even on the internet. Nobody's even watching these other things. Like, this is a time where the YouTube isn't even playing a part in people's lives. So you're just searching for more distraction. You just have the TV on. That's not to discredit from what Wendy's achieved. She's achieved immense success and incredibly talented. That being said, taking an audience from radio, regional radio, well, now it eventually became syndicated all over America, but regional at one point, turning into syndicated, and then going to YouTube and becoming global. And the cornerstone of hip hop conversation is taking an audience to another place, to the point where I would argue there was probably more people at one point watching on YouTube than there were listening on radio. And I haven't seen another traditional radio outlet do that. So to me, what that says is there is one reason why that one specific platform was able to transition and nobody else was. And that's why I give it credit. If every other radio show just transitioned and it was huge, I'd go, okay, you got a point. The internet is just this thing and it's a trend that's taken over.
The reason why I'm calling bullshit on what you're saying is because this is documented fact.
What is?
What I'm saying is going to be documented fact.
What?
Show me the other radio station that did it.
Go to 2017, 2018. I'm a singular person. I don't have nobody working for me. How many people they got working for the Breakfast Club? Me and the Breakfast Club, numbers-wise on YouTube, were competitive within maybe 1 or 2 million. They're doing 35, I'm doing 33. Fact. Hold on. I don't give myself the credit.
I'm gonna give
so
you.
So if I don't give myself the credit, I can't give them the credit.
But that's your self-loathing.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna tell you.
I don't give myself the credit for that.
Self-loathing.
How?
What I'm gonna tell you is you don't.
I was a part of a paradigm shift.
Act. You're nice, bro. You're nice. What I'm telling you is, at the end of the day, people
back then, no.
Wait for it.
Back then, no. You know how you describe it? You describe it.
Act.
Am
I one to bite my tongue with credit?
Like compliments, but nigga, like, I know you don't like me, but nigga, like, you are good at what you do.
That was crazy.
Al, that was crazy.
That was crazy. Nah, he doesn't, but it's fine. It's fine. Listen, I give it up to you. I give it up to you.
What is it? Now I think you don't like
me and you.
Only like now I think you don't, because you're just supposed to like him because he's black.
Yeah, like he's a little weird when he's been drinking.
It's fine. He thinks I've hated on him in the past, and it's fine. And I've given up to you. But that's the thing. It's like, yo, you have still stand the test of time because you are good. There are a bunch of people who are doing the same exact things you do, but you still exceed because you're good, nigga. And that's the same thing. Like,
when we're talking about, let's say, let's create a different situation where we're not comparing you to Howard or Charlamagne or who else is there, Wendy or these people, right? We're just talking about the internet people. Who fucks with you? You're one. You're number one for hip hop.
Yeah.
On internet, our generation, you're number one. Okay. Yes or no? Who is?
No, I agree with you, and I still look at that, and I'm like, put it like this. Yeah, just like Charlamagne is number one at radio, but to really be number one, like when I see Howard and even Wendy to a certain extent, I see a number one that it doesn't matter. Like Wendy probably didn't even know she had a YouTube channel. Yo, by the way, Wendy's YouTube channel for her show.
You know that people didn't have a choice back in the day, right?
Wendy's YouTube channel for her show was doing millions of views. She probably never knew she had one.
Let me.
That was a byproduct of the time changing, and people are consuming. My mother, before she started watching my shit, Mom, please stop watching myself. She was watching Wendy Williams on YouTube because she couldn't catch her during the daytime on TV.
Now listen, you're speaking of a time, when people did not have a choice in the content they consumed. Mm-hmm. They were given options and they had to choose one. Now we have a choice. In my opinion, the people that succeed in the time of choice are the greatest creators. Meaning, if I can choose from a million different people, if every day I'm walking into a library essentially, and I get to choose all these different books, that's because what we're doing with the internet. I have a choice, and if I keep choosing that same person, not what fucking UPN gives me at 9 p.m., but what I want to consume, the people that win in that era are the greatest creators. That's what I'm saying. And what my argument for you, which is my same argument, and this is why I speak very highly of you.
No, you definitely
You know that.
100%.
Because it's deserved. In the same way I speak of Charla, because it's deserved. That
Of course,
he came from a time where people were force-fed. They had 4 choices of radio shows in the morning. You remember what it was like to choose, switch to the radio. And then
he's the greatest of that.
And then he also existed in a time where you could choose whatever you want, and they still chose it.
You're making the point that I made when me and Drake had countless hours of conversation about my criticism of his last album.
Which is?
And I was basically telling Drake, I said, yo, Drake, because I felt he was a little bit sensitive. Joe had said some stuff, but like I kind of felt a little bit like, I don't know, whatever. But like the way he lashed out on criticism, I was like, oh shit. He's at the point where he's like, yo, I'm the guy. You just accept, you're a fan, accept what and I was like, no, that's not how it goes. Like, I still can have my critique. And even with you saying that when it comes to everything in terms of how I'm receiving everything, like, I don't believe that. I actually lost my train of thought, my bad.
Whether people decide that you are or you're not, people are making a choice to consume your content. And when people make the choice to consume it, to me, those are the greatest creators because people have freedom of choice and they still choose to consume these different people.
Oh, no, this is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So these days, me as a creator, and by the way, Schulz, you've always been so complimentary. Like, it's one of those things.
You're nice, bro.
No, but also, I respect you for always keeping it even. And I've seen you.
I'll say if I don't believe it, I will say
I respect it. But I feel nowadays, compared to back then, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, when people keep hyping up the Warren Chirac era of me, I was like, bro, they had no other option. Bro, half the time I didn't know what's going on. I feel like I've done more work now than before because now I know there's competition. Back then, I just knew the secret sauce. Be first, be consistent. No matter what I said, that's why people were looking at me as the law. Now, I know there's 2,000 other people that's competing. I got to go so hard. You know what I mean? And that's why I guess I like what you're saying. I'm like, no. I don't believe that whatever is going on now, based on what I've done means, it's good. I'm like, no, I'm working the hardest now ever.
But what does working hard have to do with whether it's good or not?
Because I think when you're even talking about Charlamagne, you're giving credit about, okay, well, you did this first.
What you think is, and this is my assumption, and then we can move on.
Okay.
What I think, and this is you projecting a little bit of your success onto him, which is there's a little bit of you that probably thinks that you blew up simply because it was right place, right time. Now,
yes.
Now, everybody blows up because it's right place, right time. Jeff Bezos was smart enough to realize that if he owned or offered the service of what does he do? It's called Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
So essentially, he has this business which floats everything else, where he operates the actual internet space that holds the websites.
The web hosting, yeah.
So he hosts the websites. And that's where he made all the money, not making the fucking toilet paper, but making all that money in this space that he had absolutely no competition for 10 years, allowed him to amass this wealth that builds this company, Amazon, then Amazon is this amazing company, right? He probably is looking at this like, all these dummies didn't figure out this thing. I'm a fraud. I shouldn't be this successful. No. You found the white space. You took advantage of the white space. And then when the competition came in, you still surpass the competition because you're nice.
Success is knowing how to operate within your time and place that you were born.
And
that's every successful person.
Exactly.
You can't be successful. That's the only way you can be successful.
I think you're discrediting yourself a little bit because you're like, I was just right place, right time. So if anybody else was right place, right time, then that was that's a little bit, no. It's recognizing right place, right time, seeing the white space in the market, taking advantage of that white space. And in your case, in Charlamagne's case, in my case with Stand Up, finding a way to get to tons of people. But if we don't have the sauce, nobody's using it. We had the sauce, bro. It was Frank's Red Hot. It was barbecue. It was Cholula.
You were saucy.
We were saucy, bro. To bring the shit full circle, we were saucy.
I won't be